Hi Taurus, my name is Jason. Thanks for visiting my channel. This is your general tarot reading for November 2018. I've already given the cards a pretty good shuffle. Let's get straight into it. Okay, you are going into the month of November with the energy of the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, Aquarius just had this. I'm feeling something unexpected in a good way, or perhaps in a bad way, but mostly a good way, has happened or is just about to happen for you, and it's going to be quite a strong influence on the rest of your life, or certainly for the rest of your year anyway. So it may not seem significant in the beginning, but it's something unexpected. You maybe haven't had much to do with it, but it's allowed some new things, some new energies to happen, new pathways in your life to open up. Okay, so it's a great way to start. Now, let's have a look. Your task for the month of November is represented by the Two of Pentacles. Now, the Two of Pentacles represents being able to juggle, as we see here, being able to juggle a couple of different things at once, a couple of different jobs at once. Perhaps you'll be undergoing some kind of transition where you'll need to just juggle these two separate jobs or two different tasks or projects at the same time while you wait for the transition to be complete, which might take a few weeks. Maybe we can clarify that later. But it's looking like you can handle this pretty well. Okay, so it's looking like whatever this task is, you look quite comfortable. You have a look at this guy, seems pretty comfortable doing what he's doing, but it's looking like you'll see how the pentacles there are being juggled in this infinity sign. Okay, that's telling me that perhaps something will eventually need to go before something new can really come in and make the most of whatever happened with that Wheel of Fortune. Okay, but it's all looking like just a natural progression here. Okay, so it's looking pretty good, but eventually through the month of November, something will need to transition or move on. So you can free up your hands and let those ships come in. So the ship out the back there, that's your ship. See, you've got the same colours on the ship as you have on the character there in the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so we'll have a look at that later, see what that might be. Okay, your fears. Okay, your fears for the month of November could be, well, this is the Empress card. Okay, now the Empress represents strong intuition, feminine qualities, almost like the Queen of Queens, really very strong feminine energy there. But what I notice when I see, when I'm looking at this Empress here, is see how she's separated her Venus sign. So she's got the Venus sign down next to her and she's sitting on the throne separately from that. And so when I'm seeing this card in your fears position, it looks like you might be doing something and you're worried that your head and your heart may not be connecting with what your new task is, or whatever the changes that are coming are. You might be a bit concerned that you might not have a passion for them. Okay, you might not love it, or you might have to separate your friendships from your work, or your emotional life from the work. So it looks like whatever task you have might require some very clear thinking energy, objective, and perhaps there may be no place for emotional or even more feminine kind of qualities there. So it's looking like, look, it's just a fear, okay, that you might have to separate yourself from some good friends or something. Okay, that might be in there, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, in your best attitude position, so the best attitude for you to take, look at that. Okay, that is equal give and take. This is the Two of Cups. It's quite often a beautiful love card, but it's also a card of trade and working together and partnerships. If you have a look at the caduceus there, the snakes wrapped around that post underneath the winged lion, that's a symbol of trade, from an ancient symbol of trade, an equal give and take. And you see those two people there almost swapping those cups. Okay, and it looks like almost a match made in heaven, because you've got that winged lion protecting them both. See that, covering them, almost taking them literally under under the wing. All right, so that's the attitude to take, is to look for partnerships if you can. Look for some equal give and take in a situation. So if you go to try and get some one-upmanship or something, it might not be the way to go. Go for this win-win situation here. Okay, maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, the best result from using all the energies as you might use them appropriately. Okay, it looks here like this is the Eight of Swords, and because it is in the result position, it's saying that you might see yourself being bound up by something. So at the end of November, you may see that you've bitten off more than you could chew, or you've gotten yourself into a bit of a jam. You might have got yourself into something that you don't necessarily want to be in. But really, the swords represent a state of mind. If you have a look at the binds on the character here and the blindfold, those binds, they're not that tight. She could easily sort of wriggle out of those. It's quite a self-imposed state of mind, this one. So you might be losing a bit of hope, and you might be feeling a bit overwhelmed at the end of November. But remember, that's just a state of mind. You've got everything you need because all the rest of your cards have been so good. Maybe this will be a result of doing things too well, okay? Or you may feel as though you've taken on all these responsibilities, and now at the end of the month, you'll be thinking, oh, how am I going to deal with this? I'm trapped. Okay, well, we'll see how we can deal with that energy. Okay, so let's have a look. The Wheel of Fortune. Remember the Wheel of Fortune, that's how you're going into the month of November. You're going into the month of November having some kind of unexpected change, which has just happened or is about to happen, and it's going to change things somehow, because it's a major arcana, and we'll see. Why is it here? Well, okay, the Chariot. So you've been given some kind of a license to move. Now, whether that's you've had to move office, perhaps, or you've had to move your place of work, or you've had to travel somewhere, okay? But you also, it's asking you to be objective and driven to get this job done, okay? So you know you're going into the beginning of November with a task, a sense of purpose, okay, which perhaps has been caused by this change, okay? So again, it could be a change of address, or a change of workplace, or a change of some kind of movement, some kind of travel. Look at the Chariot here. Now, the Chariot is a card of Cancer, so perhaps there's a Cancer person involved, but the Chariot's about willpower and making things happen, okay, moving things forward and tying it all together. So perhaps there's been some kind of a promotion where you've just had to move your office, or maybe they're renovating a building or something where you're at, and you need to accommodate that somehow, and you may even need to take a leadership position, okay, in that situation, okay. Now, Two of Pentacles. Why is our Two of Pentacles here? Two of Pentacles here. Why is the Two of Pentacles here for Taurus for the month of November? What might they need to juggle, and what might they need to get rid of to move things forward? Okay, your task, remember, the task was to handle this transition period, whatever was to be done here. And then that's clarified by the Seven of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords is a card of deception. It's a card that there may be some kind of dishonesty. There may be some kind of lack of responsibility being taken for something. Okay, so many different things that the Seven of Swords could be, but it's a good idea if you're doing this move or in this transition, be careful that things don't get lost or mistakenly taken, or they don't walk away. That's in a practical sense, in a 3D sense. If it's not that, then make sure that you're taking responsibility. So make sure someone is in charge. Okay, so eventually this period will have to, this transition, something will have to go, okay? But it could be, if you have a look at the ships in the back there, it's all choppy and change, a bit of chaotic out there on the ships. It could be a chaotic time, and in the chaos, something might go missing. There may be someone in the environment who does something deceptive somehow, okay? If it's not that, then perhaps it's a sign that, well, maybe no one's taking true responsibility for what's going on in this transitory period, whether it's at work or if it's at home or whatever that says to you. It'll make sense to you. Okay, so in your fused position, you may be worried about losing contact with someone, or you may have to sort of divide your loyalties here somehow. Let's have a look and why is the Empress here for Taurus for the month of November in the fused position? What does Taurus fear? Okay, King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords usually makes pretty clear-cut decisions. They're usually the right decision, okay, but it's usually a decision which doesn't consider people's feelings and sensibilities. And if you have a look here, remember when I said here, you may be fearing separating the practical from the emotional, with the Venus sign down next, totally separate to the Empress here. That could be being backed up by the King of Swords here, who comes along and makes a clear decision. No emotional involved here. No one's going to argue. It's just, this is how it is, and it may be out of your control. That's probably what you're fearing there. So whatever decision's being made about this has to go, or that has to go, or you have to do this, you have to do that, that looks like, now that's just a fear, remember. It's just a fear that this might come. It might happen, it might not, but that's just something to be aware of and something you might just have to accept. If there are big changes happening, then sometimes you just got to accept that, that there's always a cost, okay? Something's always got to give. But remember, things go, it makes room for new things to come in, new people, new systems, new ways of thinking. And so I wouldn't be too worried about the King of Swords decision here, or having to separate or divide the loyalties there. Perhaps that's even a good thing, really, in the long run. If you think about it, Taurus, it might be the best thing, actually. Let's have a look. In the best attitude to take position, you have the Two of Cups. Okay, so we talked about equal give and take here. So try and make sure that even if you can't really have a genuine equality of give and take, or genuine cooperation, try to put that impression across that everyone is having a win-win situation here. What might this win-win situation be about? Why is the Two of Cups here? Could be love, could be something to do in the workplace, could be something to do with trade, partnerships, definitely. Let's have a look. Why is it here? And we've got the King of Cups. Okay, so the best attitude to take is with this energy here, you've got equal partnership, equal give and take here with the Two of Cups, and you've got the King of Cups here. And the King of Cups is fair, okay? They're stable and they're fair, and they make decisions which are, they consider people's emotions, okay? And so that's what you'll need to do. Whatever decisions you make here, it's going to try and be equal give and take, and do it with some compassion, okay? So the King of Cups, even though they may come across as quite aloof, sometimes they're generally spot on, and when you get to know them and understand their decisions, see things from their point of view, you'll see that they make a pretty good decision, and they're compassionate, and they really do consider all sides and all parties. So that's a good energy to have there for the best attitude to take. So try and take some benevolence and compassion into November with whatever you're doing, okay? But especially with the partnerships, which seem to be highlighted here. Okay, now let's see, why is this Eight of Swords here at the end of November? Now, I've already said that you may have taken on too much, and you may be feeling a little overwhelmed with that. Remember, it's just a state of mind. Remember the bandages or the binds there, they're quite loose. They're almost falling off her already. This person's just got themselves into this position. Okay, and it's quite often it's just a state of mind. Okay, let's have a look. Why is the Eight of Swords here, and what does it mean for the result at the end of November? And we have the Queen of Swords. Okay, so the Queen of Swords, right here. There may be a woman, a female energy coming in, and she's going to say it like it is. Okay, she might have some harsh words to say to people. Sometimes the way she communicates is very straightforward, and someone may need to be told a certain way or they may have the law laid down for them. And the Queen of Swords is very good to do that. So I'm feeling that this is a person, this Queen of Swords. It may be an older woman, perhaps she's been divorced or perhaps even widowed, but she's in a very good position as far as knowing the right way to handle things. She doesn't play games, so any decisions she makes are objective most of the time, and so it's very hard, love or hate this person, it's very hard to disrespect their decisions. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing here with this energy for the result at the end of the month, and she will probably even be able to get you out of this. So if you've been feeling a little bit overwhelmed by your workload, maybe this Queen, I'm thinking, will see that and may even get you out of that quandary or that feeling. Okay, but it's going to take a harsh decision. You might have to be put in your place somehow, but at the end of the day, look, she's an honest Queen, and she does the right thing, and she doesn't take sides. Okay, so that's your reading for November, Taurus. I hope it's resonated with you, and please leave me a comment, some feedback, like and subscribe. That'd be great. And you can see I'm fairly new at this. I hope it really works. And even if you want to email me or comment in the next month or so to let me know how it all went, that'd be great. I'll talk to you again in December.